In this video, we're going to focus on how we can horizontally stack the X scale. As you can see here, we have these X scales here from 3 data sets, but they're horizontally stacked on each other. If I remove this or click on this, it will hide it. You can see this is basically another scale, and here as well. So let's start to look how we can do this. To do this, the first thing what we need is our border template, which you can get here on chartjs3.com getting started. And once you're on here, scroll down and copy this chunk of code and you're good to go. Next, if you want to have the source code of this video and many others, check out my Patreon page, and of course, got a question, put it on Discord. So what we're going to do here, and by the way, all these links are in the description box. So what we're going to do here is starting to create multiple data sets, and then we're going to stack them independently. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down and just copy these data sets. I want to make sure every data set will have a separate scale, and specifically a separate X scale. So let's give this here number 3, and this is a 3, and this is number 2. And I'll leave the other one as it is. If I do this right now, it's just all stacked together like this, or grouped together, but I don't want that. I want them all separated. So what I'm going to do here, for this one, it is already assumed that this will work with the access ID of 1. So, sorry, this is the for the first data set. The second data set, which is number 2, we're going to say here the axis, the x-axis ID will be equal to 2. And 2 is, you can give it anything you want. I'm just giving it matching this, but doesn't really matter. So you can give it anything you want. So don't mind that. And this could be comma. You could say here, for example, water level as an example. If I save this, refresh, right now it starts to see multiple scales here. Of course, what I do want is to have them stacked or nicely stacked side by side. So they are nicely aligned on a horizontal level. To do that, what we're going to do here is the following. We're going to say here for the x-axis, which is the first one, and as the default, we'll say here stack 1. Doing this, we'll say this will be part of a specific group. So the same we'll be doing for the number 2, but the x number 2 is called specifically 2, so that's the ID name. So just change that here. And then finally, we say here, this was the water level, so I'm going to put that in there. Here, stack 1 as well, because they're part of the same stack. Save, make sure you have a comma here, save, refresh. And as you can see, they're now nicely aligned on a horizontal level. Of course, let's fine tune this a little bit more, because you can see it is not really nice. So what I want to do here is, let's make sure there's no auto skip. So I'm going to say comma, and then this is the ticks. So auto skip false, save, refresh. There we are. Now we get them all. So let's grab these, put them in here as well. And finally on the third one, which is the water level. This looks all very nice. The next thing what I want to do is rotate them properly. So what I'm going to say here, comma, I'm going to say here, for the minimum rotation, by default it sets the minimum rotation is 0 and the maximum rotation is 50. I want to convert it that it will be 90 degrees, so we have this nicely aligned underneath the bar. So what I'm going to say here, I'll just say here the min rotation will be set to 90. Save that, refresh. That looks much easier on the eyes. So let's copy that and do that as well here. And the same for this. Save that, refresh. All right, that starts to look quite nice. So what we can do more here is maybe remove these grid lines here, or the grid lines here down, one or the other. Well, let's remove this one here to make this look much easier on the eyes as well, and easier to read. So I'm going to say comma, I'm going to say here grid. Then I'm going to say display set to false, removing all the additional grid lines on the Y scale. Make this much better. And that is it.